The city of Ashdod, Israel, has found itself under an intense spotlight today as reports confirm heavy bombardments from Iranian and Egyptian fighter jets, marking a new and alarming escalation in the conflict. What we're witnessing is not just an isolated strike or a symbolic display of power. It is a coordinated aerial campaign that has targeted infrastructure, residential areas, and military installations, leaving both immediate destruction and long-term questions about the city, its resilience, and the future of this war. To understand the conditions in Ashdod today, one must first consider its unique position as both a civilian hub and a strategic port city. Ashdod is Israel's sixth largest city and a vital node for trade, fuel imports, and naval operations. It sits just 40 kilometers from Tel Aviv, making it both crucial and vulnerable. That vulnerability is now on full display. The strikes have reportedly hit near the port facilities, disrupting supply chains and creating fires that spread quickly through industrial areas. Fuel storage tanks, warehouses, and shipping containers have either been destroyed or severely damaged. This isn't just about a city under attack, it's about crippling a logistics artery that Israel relies on daily. Iranian aircraft, including the upgraded versions of their Su-24 and domestically manufactured drones, acting in coordination, seem to have been deployed in tandem with Egyptian F-16. The choice of hardware speaks volumes. Iran's aircraft emphasize long-range strike capability and payload flexibility, while Egypt's F-16 fleet offers precision-guided targeting and NATO-compatible systems. The coordination of these two different air forces suggests prior planning and a shared objective of overwhelming Ashdod S-layered defense system. Despite Israel's Iron Dome and David's Sling interceptors being deployed, the saturation of missiles and bombs appears to have overwhelmed the defenses, allowing multiple strikes to reach their targets. In terms of civilian conditions, the damage is immense. Entire neighborhoods in Ashdod are now without electricity as power stations and substations have been hit. Telecommunications infrastructure has been compromised, leaving residents struggling to communicate with loved ones and emergency responders. Hospitals in the city are operating on backup generators, and the influx of casualties has pushed medical staff to their limits. Hundreds have sustained injuries, ranging from burns and shrapnel wounds to smoke inhalation, while emergency shelters are overcrowded. Families who evacuated their homes now find themselves crammed into basements and public buildings, living with uncertainty about when it will be safe to return or whether their homes even remain standing. Looking at the design of the attack itself, one can see a layered strategy. Initial airstrikes seemed aimed at softening up air defenses and radar facilities in the region. Once those were degraded, follow-up waves struck deeper into the city, targeting infrastructure, followed by secondary strikes to prevent firefighting and rescue efforts from being effective. This systematic approach is not random. It mirrors modern doctrines of aerial warfare, where the goal is not just destruction, but sustained paralysis of the enemy. By striking port areas, oil facilities, and transportation hubs, the attackers ensure that Ashdod's ability to recover quickly would be severely hindered. The unique element of this attack is the unprecedented cooperation between Iran and Egypt. While Iran's hostility toward Israel is long-standing, Egypt's involvement marks a dramatic shift in regional dynamics. Ashdod's bombardment highlights not just military coordination, but also political messaging. Israel is being targeted by a coalition capable of combining different strengths. Iran's willingness to project power beyond its borders in Egypt's established conventional military asset. For viewers trying to understand the significance, this isn't simply about planes dropping bombs. It is about alliances being tested, expanded, and expressed through coordinated strikes. From a performance perspective, the results are chilling. Israeli air defense, often touted as one of the most advanced systems in the world, has faced its most severe test yet. Iron Dome batteries intercepted dozens of incoming rockets and bombs. But with the sheer volume of attacks, the system showed its limits. Residents reported hearing not only the familiar booms of interceptions, but also the terrifying cracks of warheads hitting their intended targets. The psychological toll of knowing that the shield above them isn't impenetrable has added to the panic and fear spreading through Ashdod. The human element cannot be overstated. Footage from the ground shows streets littered with debris, burnt-out vehicles, and craters that have turned main roads into unpassable trenches. Parents clutched their children as they moved through smoke-filled streets, searching for shelter or medical aid. Volunteers and first responders worked tirelessly to clear rubble and pull survivors from collapsed buildings, but every effort is slowed by the constant threat of renewed airstrikes. The resilience of Ashdod's residents is remarkable, but the conditions today are some of the harshest they have ever endured. At the same time, one must also consider the symbolic significance of targeting Ashdod. As a port city, it represents trade and connection to the outside world, and as a modern urban hub, it embodies Israel's progress and development. By attacking Ashdod, the message is clear. No city is beyond reach, and no symbol of Israeli strength is immune. This amplifies the psychological warfare component of the attack, shaking public confidence and challenging the government's narrative of absolute security. On the technical front, the destruction also showcases how vulnerable urban environments are when subjected to high-tech aerial bombardment. Precision-guided munitions were used in some strikes, hitting specific warehouses and command posts, while others seem to employ unguided bombs that caused indiscriminate damage. The mixture of precision and saturation ensures that while some targets are militarily significant, civilians inevitably bear the brunt of the destruction. This duality of modern warfare, the blending of surgical strikes with carpet-like bombings, creates a chaotic environment, where civilians are never sure whether the next explosion is meant for them or for a nearby military facility. What makes today's conditions unique compared to previous escalations is the scale and intensity. Ashdod has been hit by rocket fire in the past, but never before by such a coordinated air campaign involving multiple state actors. The difference in scale changes everything, from the magnitude of destruction to the speed at which essential services collapse. In practical terms, the city faces challenges not only in repairing buildings, but also in rebuilding trust in safety systems, government protection, and international diplomacy. For outside observers, Ashdod's bombardment serves as a case study in how modern conflicts play out in urban centers. It demonstrates that air superiority, when coordinated across multiple nations, can completely alter the balance of power on the ground. It also shows that even advanced defense systems cannot fully protect civilian populations when adversaries employ overwhelming numbers and diverse tactics. In conclusion, the conditions in Ashdod today reflect more than just a city under attack. They illustrate the fragility of urban infrastructure under modern warfare, the evolving dynamics of regional alliances, and the limitations of even the most advanced defense systems. The bombardment highlights both the tactical successes of the attackers and the immense suffering of civilians caught in the crossfire. Ashdod, once a symbol of Israel's economic growth and connect, now stands as a stark reminder of the vulnerability that comes with strategic significance. The scars of today's attacks, physical, emotional, and symbolic, will shape not just the future of Ashdod, but the trajectory of the conflict itself.